And today we're talking about something that it's really a topic that's close to my heart. I feel as though, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking about this way too deeply, but I feel as though, the things that we do, the little things that we do every day actually make a difference in the world. And so our topic today is, are we here to make a difference? And I have been blessed to have Dana and Kathy join us in the room today. So I just want to take a couple of minutes to certainly acknowledge them and definitely have them introduce themselves and talk a little bit about their businesses. But before we do that, it's mail call time because I got a beautiful, beautiful, oh my goodness, guys. My heart stopped when I saw it. I got this just outstanding gift from one of our Ladies Power Lunch members for absolutely no reason. And my day it just made my whole day. So I thought I would share it with you. And it's from Jen Jones. And she says, Dear Davia, thank you for your support and inspiration. You're doing amazing things in this world. Hope in 2021. Jen Jones. And then there is this beautiful little mesh bag, and inside the bag is, and for those of you who are watching, who are listening over on our podcast, I'm sorry, this is such a visual media for you to see, but we have this beautiful little sandstone, and it has inscribed on it the word hope. And there is also a little, I think it's a magnet, and it says, enjoy the little things. So
Nice.
That's really sweet.
Very nice.
just a really, really great reminder to us to stay hopeful and to really tune in to the little things, because it's enjoying these things that some of the bigger things in our lives that we're looking forward to show up. I thought it would be appropriate to share this with you because what she says in her card is, you're doing amazing things in this world. And truly, I'm just here doing a thing. I share all the time that Ladies Power Lunch started because six women got together in a Ruby Tuesday and we had a fun lunch. We're just kind of having a good time. And we get together and we have our monthly networking meetings and we have our little shows online and we do our thing. But apparently, it helps, and apparently it is having a ripple effect in the world. So I'm looking forward to the conversation that we're able to generate around this today. And if you are one of the wonderful, wonderful people who's joining us over on our Facebook group, I'm still a little, just touched by the wonderful gift. But if you're watching over on the Facebook group, I would invite you, come on over to the Zoom and let's continue the conversation over here. And also, if you are unable to do that, but you want to drop comments, questions, concerns in the chat, you are welcome to do that. So let's start with Dana. Dana, will you please share with us who you are and what it is that you're doing in the world?
Sure. I'm Dana Culligan. I'm a director and team leader with Tokara Jewelry USA. Obviously, there's jewelry to be had, but I am first and foremost about sisterhood, sparkle, and style, and creating that sense of community and connection always, but particularly for this crazy past 12-month period that we've had, where we've been so caught up from the things that are normal for us every day. So, part of what I get to do is share beautiful jewelry, bring girls together for some heart time, and bring people like Kathy on board to the company as well. Kathy is with Tokara Jewelry with me on my team, and I've been with Tokara about 2 years now. It's been a fabulous 2 years. And having been in the industry over 20 years, I've seen a lot. So when I see a company that's doing good year round through things like um, donating to the fight against breast cancer, that's just one of those things that can make you feel good every day about what you're doing. But what I really like to address is something that you shared with us. And that was that little gift in the mail. I love what I do, and I know that it makes a difference. But boy, when someone sends you something that says, and this is a friend of mine named Jackie, you'll both probably know her. She was so kind a while back to send me a note that just said, if you ever wonder that what you're doing is making a difference, let me tell you about how this gift was received by my friend. And she went on to just tell me that, she had picked out a beautiful piece of jewelry, she'd given it to her friend, and that friend expressed to her how much that made a difference. So, whether it's a card, whether it's a little smooth stone that's a talisman, whether it's a piece of jewelry, it's really the feeling behind that that's making the difference. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, so I can totally relate to how that feels when you get something like that. It's just
I
a brightener.
I would also like to say that, I was able to purchase a gift for my sister-in-law, who is also a breast cancer survivor, from you some time ago. It was some little breast cancer awareness bracelets, and they were cute and fun, and I thought she would like them. And I have to say, it really, really made her day, to the point where I hardly ever see her without them, because it's sort of like a reminder to her that she's a survivor and she got through this. And yes, it was a tough 2 years, guys, but it was also a really good learning opportunity for our whole family. And we're on the other side of it now, and we're really here to support any other breast cancer patients who might need our help at this time. So I want to say to you, thank you for providing that little spark of beauty in our lives. Really appreciate that. Kathy, welcome. So good to see you.
Hello. I
It,
know I haven't been around much lately, but I'm working on getting back in the groove.
yes, and we're happy
Um,
to have you back. So tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
okay, I'm retired. I'm a retired IT professional. So I don't have a creative side.
We all have a creative side, but you know what?
So,
It shows up
it's
in
just a little
different
different.
ways. Because you ask me, Kathy, ask me to do something creative in IT, and I will look at you like you have five heads. The other day, I was online making a website using a drag and drop editor, and my 6-year-old looks at me and says to me, Mom, why are you using that? Why don't you use JavaScript? And I'm like, no, even just the word JavaScript is giving me anxiety. So I absolutely respect the creativity that you brought to the IT area of work. And, creativity shows up in different ways. But now that you're retired, Kathy, what are you focusing your attention on?
Well, I've been retired for quite a long time. And earlier on, I was fortunate enough that my grandkids were not too old to spend time with them. That was my grandson. He's home from college. That I took a quick hello with from. But so I was pretty well, kept very busy. We moved from where we used to live up here back to, I'm in Windsor. I actually raised my family in South Windsor. And so the first, just a funny thing, when we moved into the house, we decided at the last minute, a friend of my son-in-law's had a cancellation. So he came in and redid all our downstairs wood floors. So the only area in the house that we could be in for a day or so was this room, which is a converted porch, and the kitchen. Well, something happened, and we ended up with the grandkids that day. Now they were little, they were like 2 and 6 months. And we had this small part of the house, but we had a ball. But, anyways, that's how long ago it was. My granddaughter just turned 21. So,
That's awesome.
other than that, I have been dabbling. I stopped working full time when I was 52, mostly for health reasons, but kept dabbling in different things. And I met Dana, so fortunate to have met this wonderful lady at what was it, an expo that I went to.
Mm-hmm.
And she had on, and this is before Torquera, the most gorgeous necklace. This lady who never wore jewelry, and also didn't get her. I got my ears pierced when I was 38. Isn't that good? So, anyways, I just was blown away talking to her, and I couldn't take my eyes off this jewelry. So there was a seminar the next day. So I talked my husband into going with me to the seminar and mentioned the jewelry. And so we had to hunt around because she had a different place that day. And so I came over and chatted with her again. She says, "You come back?" And I said, "Yes." And it just happened to be just about my birthday. So my husband bought the necklace for me. And the rest is history.
Kathy and I joke that that's the day she started turning into a girl.
Right,
Oh.
right. You notice I haven't put any jewelry on today yet. But yes, I just and I adore this piece. So and really got to know Dana and how much fun she was having with what she was doing. And when the new company came, I think I cried as much as she did when the old company decided not to be in business anymore, because I saw how much fun and how much it meant to her. And she invited me for her grand opening, I guess you could call it, to see pieces of the new jewelry. And then I went to one of the first parties she had. And by the end of the party, I walked over and I said, "I think I'll join you." You know, she had asked me to join her in the other one. I'm like, "No, this stuff is way too busy." You know, it was making things. And I'm like, "Not for me."
But you know what
And
you're saying, Kathy? You're talking about making differences, right? And it's a lot of feelings involved there, right?
right. And I really do love the jewelry. I love sharing it. I like doing it better in person. I have, of course, because of this last year, I haven't done much else, but I'm getting back in the groove.
Mm-hmm.
And I am so fortunate to have this wonderful lady as not only a friend, but a mentor.
Thank you. That
That's
is so sweet of
wonderful.
you to say. That
Thank
means the
you,
world.
Kathy. So, it's interesting how there's always divine synchronicity because in my meditation this morning and my morning reading came up this passage that it only takes a spark to ignite a forest. I mean, when you really think about that, it really doesn't take much to get a fire going. If you have all the right conditions in place, you could have a really really blazing situation on your hands. And so the question that we're asking today is the little things that we're doing in our lives, the small things that we are doing, the offerings that we have for our clients, are they really making a difference? And it seems to me, even just looking at the case between yourself and Kathy, it seems to me, Dana, that you've both made a difference, both in each other's lives as well as that ripple effect that goes out into the community. How do you feel about that, Dana?
I have to agree with that because again, this is when I bring people on and they're training. And one of the first things I like to make sure that they understand is that no matter what business you're in, no matter what business it is, it begins with connection and building relationships.
Hmm.
And I don't care how good you're doing, how well you're doing at your business, if you don't understand that, you're not doing as well as you could because that's simply it's compassion and it makes you feel better about yourself to be projecting that out into the world. Now that sounds a little bit woo woo, but you asked me to talk a little bit about compassionate, supportive energy. And this may be a little too well worn, but there is that phrase that, you need to remember that everyone, no matter who they are, they have some sort of struggle
Yeah.
and they're fighting some sort of battle.
Hmm.
And I like to try to go into any interaction, whether it's a Zoom meeting or a conversation, just understanding that for the moment. Because Facebook's wonderful. We like to share the happy and the positive, and I try to keep things very, very positive, and I think a lot of people do. But what you see doesn't sum up who they are and what they're dealing with at that moment. So you get this impression that so and so's just got it so together, and you forget that they're dealing with the things they're dealing with.
Because all
So,
we see on Facebook is basically your highlight reel.
yeah.
I'm not suggesting that everybody, post everything that's happening in their down days, but really you're seeing the brighter pieces of their lives. You're not really seeing the things that cause them worry or anxiety for the most part.
Or are taking their time.
Mm.
You may feel that, wow, I haven't heard from somebody in a while. I wonder why that is. Well, it's probably because they have that many balls in the air and they're probably doing the best that they can. So I think the more that we remember that, we kind of engage that before we pick up the phone or get on the Zoom call. I think that the better for everyone. And we do a lot with fundraising, benefit parties, and giving items for silent auctions. So a group can raise money, and those things are very valuable. But there is that intangible of that just giving of that understanding. Just that. The rest can follow. I can give you a pretty necklace to put in a silent auction that brings in money for an organization, and that truly has value. We need money. A lot of the nonprofits need money, but you can give that, just that little piece of understanding. And again, sounds so woo woo, but I'm sorry, I stand by it.
But it's not woo woo at all. It is really just speaking to the human condition. Everybody has something that's going on. Even the person who seems the most put together, the person who seems to have it all together, has something going on. I want to quote one of our members, Liz. She always reminds us that it's okay to send another email, because if you sent an email and somebody didn't respond, it's not necessarily an opportunity for you to take it personally. They could have missed it. It could have gone to their spam. It could have had so many other things that happen. And if we are focused instead on the other person and the benefit to the other person, then we'll be happy to send another email just to make sure, maybe even follow up with a phone call just to check in to make sure everybody's doing okay. So there's that. I want to ask you guys, I feel like we have very firmly established that no matter what you're doing, as long as you're putting loving kindness out into the world, you are making a difference. I feel like that is something that we can all stand behind. When we think about the do's and the don'ts of spreading this loving kindness, what would you say? I'm asking both of you, Kathy and Dana, what would you say are the do's for really spreading this loving kindness into the world?
Listen, listen. Do a lot more listening than you're doing talking.
People say you only have one mouth but two ears.
Mhm.
Yep.
And in this listening, what would you say is the great benefit of listening?
Well, let's take it from friend to friend. You might think you know what's best for that person. You might think you know what's going on, but until you really listen and ask a few more questions, you're not really in a position to do your best by them. And because it's your friend, we're going to assume that that's what you want to do. Same thing goes into business.
Yes.
Listening. What is it that you're looking for? What are your challenges right now? I might think that, wow, our new necklace is the best thing ever. But what that person is looking for is simply, I lost my favorite simple silver hoop. And I need that to make my life complete. And I joke about that, but some people will come to me with that.
Yeah.
The point being is that those might be the things that they need, and you might have overlooked it. The same goes for someone comes to an event or a party. They may have come just to support their friend.
Hmm.
They personally may not be looking for a piece of jewelry, but they might have a really close connection to a cause, such as the fight against breast cancer or the American Heart Association. And those are things that through my business, I can serve. I could do a blingo night fundraiser for her group. So suddenly this gal who's kind of just there because they like their girlfriend
Hmm.
realizes that there's a side to that that can be really helpful. And then of course from a business standpoint, that's a really helpful thing too.
So it seems to me, Dana, that the thing that supports the community also supports your business.
Yes,
What a
sure,
great coincidence.
sure. How about that, right? And
So
that makes
good.
you so much more comfortable coming into any business. If you know that you're in business to serve, the more I share my product, the more I have these girlfriend get-togethers, the more my business grows. And certainly we're in business that's profitable, but then the more I can turn around and serve by donating a fabulous piece of jewelry. Here you go. Go raise money by putting it in your auction. Or let's have a blingo night and let's give all the proceeds to your cause.
Hmm. Hmm. I love it. I love it all. Kathy, what about you? What would you say if you had to just give us one little piece of advice before we go about how to get that loving kindness out into the world? What would your suggestion be?
Um, I think it's sharing the gifts you have and sharing the information you have. I think it's really important to be able to communicate with people and let them understand that you're more than just jewelry. You're there to support them if they need it. And, um, this year, my focus is going to be, because I haven't really started yet, it would is be on more fundraising. I've been doing a lot of thinking about what my real desire is in terms of moving forward.
Hmm.
And that is the area that I want to concentrate on this year.
I love that. That is really a beautiful, beautiful sentiment. I want to close out our conversation by just saying that a friend, a very dear friend, kind of gave me a little tap on the wrist the other day. And by the other day, I mean several months ago. I was thinking about writing my book, and she said to me, how dare you not write your book? And I thought to myself, well, and maybe I said it to her, there are so many books out there on similar topics. Nobody's going to care about my book. But then she reminded me that there is somebody out there who needs to hear this told in the way that I am going to tell it. And if I'm even just writing this book for this one person, then that one person is going to be able to show up in a different way in his or her life, and they're going to touch people in a different way, and those people are going to touch other people in a different way, and suddenly we're looking at this ripple effect from just putting this one positive thing out into the world. So, the thought I want to leave us all with today is that I think we've come to the conclusion we all make a difference in the things that we do, and we can make a choice to share positive love and kindness, or we can make a choice to hold it back and keep it within us. But I feel like in sharing, we're making the whole world, so much more of a better place. Thank you guys so much for hopping on today. This was such a heartfelt conversation for me. I want to say thanks again to Jen for her beautiful, beautiful gift. It was really, really a good jumping off point for this conversation. And Kathy and Dana, thanks for being a part of this conversation today. Thanks to everybody who showed up over on our Facebook group. We're really happy that you were able to make it today. And I'll see you guys on the next show. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.